Hi there, fishermen. Brett Harris here from Trophy Tales down in Port Elizabeth. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about soft plastics and fishing of soft plastics with color. Now, soft plastics obviously very popular in our saltwater estuaries as well as surf casting for all sorts of species. And often the question I get in the shop is, what color do I use? And many anglers get caught up in a color that they switch to after hours and hours of fruitless fishing, and immediately they get a bite. Unfortunately, the brain switches over, and forever and a day they come into the shop and they're buying 10 of the same colored lures. Now, with everything in life, there is a rule of thumb when it comes to art lure fishing, and rules of thumb stem from years and years of collective successful fishing, and they cannot be ignored. They don't have to be adhered to 100%, but they're certainly there for a reason. They work more or less like this. Perfect day for me fishing on my Game Tooth River would be a sunrise to sunset session, and typically I would start off the day with a dark colored lure. Sunrise, low light conditions. I like these chocolate brown mermaid's tails. I also fish the pitch black one. I also fish the purple, and then the two-tone colored ones also I find quite successful. And I'd fish this for about an hour after sunset, where I switch off and over to a pinkish color. Now the pink I've got here is a new color. You all know the shocking pink one. This has got a bit of glitter in it. Very popular, or becoming very popular. One that's really turned on quite a few catches down in the Eastern Cape is this jelly prawn color with glitter in it as well. I've caught some nice fish on this all times of the day. In the bright of the day, 12 o'clock, I switch over to either a pure white, a clear glitter, but my all favorite is this guy here, which is sort of a pearl sheen with glitter in it as well. And often those Garrick just can't leave that alone. As we head into the early afternoon, I switch back to that jelly prawn color. Just before sunset, I'm into this pink color again, and then obviously as we get dark, I'm into the darker colors. Now, that's the color scheme, and you can play around with those as you wish. Some guys, as I said, will stick to that pink color or that dark or that pearl because they caught a fish on it after hours of unsuccessful fishing. But confidence is everything that makes an angler, and the more confident you are in your tackle, in your position, where you're fishing, and then ultimately for us the lure choice is crucial, because if every cast starts off with a measure of doubt, you find yourself not being successful. How that works, well, the universe can answer. But I tinker quite a lot with color, and if you go through my photo album, you'll see quite a few catches on variants of this sort of a pattern. Now, for those that have done a bit of study, you will know that as we go deeper into the water column, less UV and light filtrates down to those lower levels, and it's surprisingly shallow, chaps, sometimes up to a couple of meters. But the clever scientists tell us colors like chartreuse, pink, orange, and red are the colors that last the longest in the water column. So I use combinations of those in all my modifications I do with my soft plastics. And then many of you ask me, what do you put these bands on the tail for? Now, any angler that fishes an estuary in the Eastern Cape knows that every year there is an annual swimming prawn or tiger prawn migration, and on that moment fish tend to lose their mind slightly, and those who have seen pictures of them know they have these black bands on their tail. So the mermaid's tail is very prone to a lot of tail movement. It's being pinched and thinned out just to allow that. So I just find that when this banded section is flicking through the water, it triggers that instinctive bite from species like Garrick, cod, bartail, flatheads, and the likes. So let's get on to a quick demonstration of how I turn something like that into a nice brightly vibrant color like this. Right, so as I said, folks, I'm going to be turning this is a white one, snow white or just pure white mermaid's tail. I'm going to be turning this into my two favorite colors, and I'm going to be using this Pro Bass lure dip or soft plastics dip. It says bass on it, folks, but don't stress, it does the same for all the saltwater fish. The nice thing about this Pro Bass stuff, I like it comes in a clear bottle. It's got a very good screw top lid. Freshwater fishermen might recognize these bottles from their applications. Now they come in a whole massive range of colors. I've gone for the colors I mentioned earlier in the video, which is the ones that last the longest in the water column, namely pink, chartreuse, orange, and red. The bottles have a very clear indicator giving you the color that you're going to be working with. And they also come in a number of scents. The one that I went for here is actually shellfish, and all I can say is it smells fishy. What I really like about this new one, I've only just started, I haven't fished with them yet, but I've certainly dipped quite a few lures. This one I dipped about a day or two ago, and if I just smell it now, that shellfish or very fishy smell has stayed inside the plastic. And many of the other dyes that I have used, within hours, within minutes of the dip, they tend to fade, and the very strong smell of the plastic comes through and doesn't mask that at all. To use them is quite simple. I'm going to start off, I'm going to give this lure a pink tail. So all we're doing is opening up the pink bottle, and as I said, the colors on the lid there. And all you're going to do is take your soft plastic and you're going to dip it into the bottle and let it go down to the mark that you want. I like doing sort of quite a bit of the tail in pink. And there you can see we have it coming through already. It dries very quickly. It's acetone based. Most of these dips are acetone based. So literally within about 10 or 15 seconds you can handle and touch this. I'm going to put the lid on there now because this stuff, if it falls over, you'll never get it out of anything. It's very, very powerful. Right, there we go. That's dry to the touch now. We're now going to turn it around. I'm going to use the chartreuse. Oh, I can smell that shellfish smell quite strongly. I'm going to take the lid off there, flick it down. This is, as I said, that Pro Bass dip. And we're simply going to dip the other half of the soft plastic into the bottle now. Now folks, of you that do art, you'll know that pink and chartreuse when mixed makes orange. So I'm going to dip it in just until I can see it gets that orange tinge. Not that that makes any difference, it just gives me a marker. Let that drip off. I don't want any drips falling on my workbench. If we have a look at this, give it a few seconds to dry. Here we have what we had created earlier. 1 times pink and chartreuse with a little orange band for luck. I'm going to come back just now. We're going to put those rings down the tail. It's the rings I told you about that mimics, in my view, a swimming prawn and triggers many a bite. Let's get the marker pen out and we'll do that one in a second. Right folks, so this is the one we dipped just a few minutes ago. I'm now going to put down those bands that we spoke about earlier, the ones that mimic the swimming prawns, in my very strong belief of self-confidence. I'm using a pen. This is an opposition brand. It's a Spikit pen. And what I have found is that any good permanent marker which has an acetone, a strong acetone, so not the ones you'd use on whiteboards, but the clothes marking ones have a very high acetone value, will also work on soft plastics. They're about the same price, so you're not going to be saving anything, and these pens are quite expensive. They cost literally the same as the bottlenecks. So either a Spikit pen or any good permanent clothes marker. If you pick up the permanent markers, read on the instruction, and if it has a high acetone or acetone is bolded on the pen, then it will work. The acetone is what drives the paints into the soft plastics. All your other pens, the standard Maxell pens, they won't penetrate into the plastics of the lure. Right, now as you guys that have fished the mermaid's tail, I'll try and show you there. It's got these pinch segments. There's a number of them. There's 5 or 6 of them as you work down the tail. That's the part that gives the mermaid's tail that flick-flack action. That's what I use. I use the recess of those, and I'll just turn the pen on its side. You'll see the pens all have that square nib shape, and I just go in there and I just dab into that groove or that pinch of the lure. I just dab in my permanent marker, and I get those nice and black as we go into the notch of the lure there. And they come up pretty quickly. One doesn't have to rush these things, but they come up pretty quickly. Boom, boom, like that. And again, as I said, this stuff dries incredibly fast, so you don't have to worry. What I normally do if I'm not working on my desk here, I'll just put a piece of paper down. If you come into the shop, you'll see on top of the freezer section, I've marked hundreds of lures for customers. There's quite a few stains from these pens there. Right, there we go. So that's all. There's 5 notches in the tail. That's all 5 of them done. And then just to finish off, I'll take the very base of the tail, the mermaid's tail, the flat section, and I'll just give that a bit of a blackened out section as well. Okay. And that should be immediately soft enough to the touch. And there we go. 1 times mermaid's tail. Started off as a white or a and it was either the white or the glitter, now converted to a beautiful chartreuse pink with a little band of orange. Right, there we go. I've put a hook just into this mermaid's tail, just so I can give it a good demonstration up on the camera here. Guys, this mermaid's tail flick-flacking through the water with those rings, to me, gives me all the confidence as an angler that I need. It's a pattern that I've caught many fish on, and I always believe that a confident angler is a positive angler, and a positive angler always catches more fish. Confidence in a bottle. Guys, I've been using these bait dyes for quite a long time. This is new to me. I have not fished it yet, but we'll see what comes off it over the next couple of months. What I really like so far about this one in particular is I ordered it straight off the catalogue. I didn't know what the shellfish would smell like. It's got a fishy smell, but what's important to me, unlike the others, is I dipped this about a night and a half ago when I first received my product, and it still reeks of a nice fishy smell. So this is going to go and do a bit of fishing this weekend on Gamjuice, providing my tennis elbow holds out for a couple of sessions. Hopefully the next time you see one of these puppies, it'll be squarely in the scissors of a cob's mouth. Guys, wish me luck in tight lines, and we'll chat soon.